Good afternoon. Welcome to the Shenandoah Valley Cooking Class. I'm Jay Langston, the Executive Director of the Shenandoah Valley Partnership. We're glad that you are joining us today. We are going to be talking about assets in the Valley, and the fun part of this too is we're also doing our normal cooking. So we are going to be making Mexican street corn. It is a great recipe because it's so easy, and then it's so easy to use in multiple ways. We'll talk about that a little bit. But we're here at the Explore More Discovery Museum in Harrisonburg, a tremendous asset. And I would like to introduce the Executive Director of Explore More Museum is Lisa Shull. And I should also add that Lisa is one of the founders of Explore More. Yeah. So Lisa, thank you for hosting us in their kitchen on the third floor here.
Lovely.
We've got it to ourselves today.
That's right.
We're loving this, but tell us about Explore More. Tell about the history.
Okay.
You've got a lot to talk about.
A lot of long history, that's right. We just celebrated 2 decades of the museum. We started in 2002 as a traveling museum and hopscotched around the community, sharing what we wanted to create. We were in a rental facility up the street for quite a long time and moved into this building in 2013. Mm-hmm. It's really a perfect example of grassroots organization, and we've been at it for a long time and just really proud of what we've accomplished together for our kids.
Yeah, you have had a lot of help along the way, I know. Also should mention, just so that audience knows, one of your big partners in this was your husband, who is the Economic Development Director for the City of Harrisonburg.
That's right.
But and y'all have done an amazing job over the years. Talk about what the museum is.
Yeah, it's really a safe space for children and families. When we moved here 20 years ago, our kids were young. There was not anything like this. And so we saw a need. I think we first and foremost went at it because we thought this would be great for children and learning and provide so many experiences. But obviously, as we went along the way, and of course with Brian's thought process, we wanted it to be a part of downtown revitalization, to be really a tourist asset to the community. And it really is. We certainly focus a lot on our local and our regional audience, but we also know that there are many, many people coming here as a destination. So I think that's really helpful for our economy.
Yes. Talk about your mission with this. I think that's something that a lot of people might not know from the outside. They see it as just a pure museum.
That's right.
But you do a lot more.
We do. I mean, we are a nonprofit, and I think people are sometimes surprised by that. But we are all about the kids. We engage young minds. We have multi-sensory learning opportunities. And we really try to provide many, many experiences in one location. In fact, when we talk to people and we say, tell us about the museum, what do you think is makes it unique? And they say, you can't go any place and have this many different experiences for this many different age groups in one place. And I think that's true. So when kids walk in, they could be an anchor on a news broadcast. They could be a scientist. They could drive the ambulance, work on a car, aviation, lots and lots of different subject areas under one location.
You gave me a great segue because you're just describing some of the things that you can provide. Kids can learn about, potential future careers. And you're in sort of the workforce, talent pipeline.
It's true.
Maybe not intentionally, but you certainly are. Talk about more of what you just described with the healthcare portion and the other pieces. I'll let you describe it rather than me. You haven't asked a lengthy question.
No. Well, we have 16 different exhibit galleries, and I just mentioned some of them, but really they're all set up and designed so that children can come in at whatever level stage they are, and they can experience, they can imagine, being the pilot, they can imagine being the banker, or go to a maker space that we provided for youth 8 and up, and they can work with 3D printers and laser cutters and woodworking stations and learn about circuitry. So we've really tried to design it. Our target age is really 2 to 12, and we want to make sure that when someone's very, very young, just a toddler, that they can explore and kind of figure out the world around them, and as they age up, they have different experiences.
And that's a little bit of what you do too, because we all know that everybody's thinking about childcare, transportation, and housing. In a way, y'all provide child care, don't you?
We do, and in addition to the exhibits, when parents come with their children, we have a lot of other programs. In fact, one that we started to help working parents is a school daycare schools out program. And so parents can drop their children off and we engage them in learning all day long. And in fact, during the pandemic, we even started a virtual school here, and that was just an amazing help for so many parents. And the children were engaged. I think they probably had one of the most normal experiences that you could have during such a time.
It was great that you were able to do that, particularly during that time. Talk about some of the partners who help you with this. But
Right.
save Heather until later, because we're going to bring her on in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you walk in the museum, it's really a microcosm of our community, and you can see through all the exhibits all the amazing partners we have, whether that's TV3 and the meteorologist, and Merck, the science lab, and dynamic aviation, and just lots of individuals as well. We couldn't do any of this without the funding and the support. And of course, all the universities are huge partners for us. We have so many volunteers who come in and just help expand and extend our staff. I would take the whole show to talk to you about the partners we have. There's no way we could do this without so many amazing partners. And I won't mention Heather, but she's a huge partner, and you'll see why.
Exactly. Your mission, what do you see, this going? And I know that's a hard question because y'all have worked so hard to get here, but
Right.
you have really become part of the fabric of the community, and you're a tourism asset as well.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
I think so.
And,
Yeah.
And we hadn't talked about that. Talk about, where you draw, what kind of audience do you see?
Yeah, well, about 85% of our audience comes from all over Virginia, 100 municipalities, and about 15%, this is what we estimate, from all over the United States. We're very fortunate because there are places like Massanutten that draw a lot of families, and they pretty much come here each year. We have families who come in, and we watch their children grow up, and they make this one of their stops as they come along to the valley. So I think the sky's the limit. We could be doing a lot more. We don't do a huge amount of marketing, but I feel like there's capacity for that, and I think we could grow. Right now, we're at about 80,000 visitors a year, which is pretty substantial
that's
for a
pretty
community our
substantial.
size, but
Yes.
I think we could double that with some effort, because I think the museum's growing, I think our community's growing, and I think that people are starting to really appreciate things like this. Children need to use their imaginations, not to just sit and structured in front of screens all the time. It's really important that they can have these play-based experiences.
Yeah. So I got you a little sideline, but where do you think you want to go with this in the next 20 years?
Well, want to build out the rooftop. That's the only floor left, but it's going to take a substantial contribution there. But as far as what we can do, the main thing we want to do is be accessible to every child. We want to make sure there's never a financial barrier, there's no reason they can't come. So outreach is going to be a big part of our mission. We're trying to expand some of our preschool programs, because preschool is really so vital. 90% of brain development happens by the time children are 5, so we need to be working on that, and I think we could play a large role in it. So, more exhibits. We're never going to stop. Even when everything is in place, I'm sure we'll just continue to enhance and add based on what the needs are for the community and the children.
Yeah, that's great. Can I put you on the spot and have you talk about some of the programs that you're putting on, like this kitchen here?
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to get started
Okay.
with the cooking part of,
Sure.
of the corn. Oh, and I am putting Lisa on the spot here, but I'm going to get started because this takes 5 minutes to just brown the kernels, and we can talk while this is going on. Hopefully we'll be able to hear, and if not, you can pay attention to Lisa while I'm doing this.
Okay.
So I'll let you talk about some of the programs, and I'm
Some of
going
the
to get this
programs.
started.
Sure. Well, this kitchen is a wonderful example of a program that we have. We offer many cooking classes. One I'll highlight from the summer that was so fun, it was called Pop-Up Bake Shop. And we brought the children in, and there was just sort of an intersection of cooking, but also marketing and entrepreneurship. They were able to create teams, and there were 15 kids, 3 teams, and they all created their own bake shop, and they marketed it, and they invited people to come and buy their baked goods. And at the end of the week, they donated all of the money to the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. So I think that was just a really good example of using this kitchen in a variety of ways, not just cooking. Other programs, we have weekly drop-in programs where children can explore engineering, science, preschool.
The makerspace.
The makerspace.
That you have.
Yes.
Makes me want to go to it all the time.
Yes.
Every time I see it, I want to go in there and play with something.
Yeah, the makerspace is wonderful, and in fact, as part of the great community give that we have in our community, someone was able to donate the money to get a new Glowforge laser cutter, and that was a big hit this summer. They can make all kinds of things with that using computer technology and then transferring it to make a product. So that was great. Yeah, it was full all summer long. Summer camps, we had 32 different summer camps.
Yeah. Talk about before you talk about the camps, let me say what I have done is put the corn in and used olive oil here. This is going to simmer for 5 minutes or approximately, and just want to get it brown. Don't, lightly brown when it's turning, and then we'll throw in the garlic for 30 seconds and then remove it from heat. Now I'll let you go back to programs.
Yes.
If I can keep up with 5 minutes, now I have to remember to do that.
Okay. Yeah, we had many summer camps. Started in June. We're finishing up the last one end of August, and we just have explored many subjects. CSI. They had a spy camp. Pokemon. We try to build on the interests of the kids in art, of course, science, and cooking. Just many different areas, and we have an amazing staff who put all this together and just engage hundreds of children all summer long. Yeah.
Well,
that looks good, Jay. Looks very good.
It's going to be better as soon as I can get this done, and this is always the challenge for me. Anytime I'm doing these, it's how do I conduct a narrative with you and then our guests and then actually cook. And believe me, I need to focus on one thing at a time.
Well, let me tell you what would be harder. Yes. If you had 10 children around this trying to do that, it would be much harder. And we do that all the time, so
Yes, you're a former teacher, so you're a saint as far as I'm concerned. Well. I'm married to a retired teacher, and I don't know how you do it because I would get lost in anything that I was doing with the kids around. And
knives and all those things with preschoolers. That's really interesting. We have a staff member, Miss Melanie, and she says she's not much of a cook, but she can certainly cook with the children, and it's always fun to watch and see what she's doing.
Do they get excited when they're in here and being able to do this?
Sure do. They sure do.
Yeah, it's probably to them as unique as like the makerspace or one of the other programs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it?
Well, it smells very good.
We'll work on this. Well, let's talk about one of your partners because we'll get Heather up here now.
Okay.
The Shenandoah Regional Airport. We're going to introduce Heather Ream, the marketing director for the airport.
Yeah, hello. I'm good. How are you, Jay? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm glad to have both of you, obviously here. Glad to have you, and I'll make sure that I'm not burning this.
Looks good so far.
Yeah, it's good so far, but all it takes is a little inattention at some point to make that different. Tell us about the history of the airport. Most people wouldn't know that we have a commercial airport. You can tell us the history. You can go back and talk about all the things that how we got here and some of the things that you're also engaged with. So that was a lot. Obviously, I want you to continue talking while I'm doing this.
If I forget something, please keep me on track.
I will ask questions.
So the Shenandoah Valley Airport was created. It was a group of business people that kind of came together in the late 1950s, and we had some really small airports around the region, and they knew that we would need our larger airport with adequate infrastructure to have commercial service, to support business and industry here. And so they researched a bunch of areas, and we ended up in Weir's Cave, which is smack dab in between Waynesboro, Stanton, Harrisonburg, Augusta, and Rockingham County. So we're kind of in the middle of everything.
Which makes up the bulk of our population in those five localities.
And that's our direct service area, but we also serve passengers from really the whole Shenandoah Valley Partnership footprint. And so in the early 1960s, the airport opened, and we have had commercial air service continuously ever since that time. We've had different carriers, of course. Currently now we have Contour Airlines, who is a regional partner of American. And all of our flights go to Charlotte Douglas Airport in North Carolina. And from there, you can really get to anywhere or get to the Valley from really anywhere you are.
Yeah, and that's our selling point for the airport is really you're almost one stop away from anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah, and we're privileged to have commercial service in the area with the population that they have, because we know with everything that's going on in the industry, it's tough, to get to a lot of underserved markets in many ways.
That is true. Yeah, and the pandemic really has made things kind of hard on the airlines with pilot shortage and mechanic shortages, and so we are very fortunate that we maintain air service throughout the pandemic to serve our community.
You partner with Explore More.
I do.
You want to talk about that?
Yes. So I've been involved with Explore More for quite some time. I'm in my 6th year as a board member, but it all started years ago when Lisa had this vision to start finishing the 2nd floor and put some new exhibits in, and she wanted to do an aviation exhibit, which of course was just music to my ears. So I got involved a little bit with the planning and dynamic aviation in Bridgewater. We all kind of came together and just brainstormed what that could look like. And so then Dynamic actually has a King Air fuselage inside the space. And since that time, we've put in a control tower. We have, they actually even have some lights here from some lighting projects that we have done to convert all of our lighting on the airfield to LED. And so they've taken some of our old fixtures and our old beacon and put them in there for the kids to enjoy. It really feels like a real airport in there. And so that it's been really fun. And getting back to the airport. So not only do we have commercial service, we also have an aviation maintenance shop on the field that works on aircraft. We have a flight school that's teaching.
I was going to
pilots.
talk about you're engaged in sort of the education and talent pipeline, and I'll talk about that a second.
So in addition to the flight school, we also have an aviation.
And while you're doing it, I'm 5 minutes in. I'm putting the garlic in. This will not take long at all. 30 seconds, which I probably won't make. I'll do it longer than that, but anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. We have an aviation maintenance technology program with Blue Ridge
Community
College. It smells so good.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm trying not to get distracted by the smell of this delicious garlic, actually.
Sorry to interrupt.
But Blue Ridge Community College, their aviation maintenance technology program is really, it's an amazing program where they're training aircraft mechanics who are going on to work for NASA, for regional airlines, for all kinds of different aviation folks with Dynamic, and so it's really a neat thing to have right in our community for not just our local residents, but they have students who have even come here internationally this semester to take their program.
Okay,
so
I'm not teasing you. I'm just taking it and removing it from the heat. But you were talking about where they were coming from.
Yeah.
I'm going to let this rest. We're now going to prepare the other parts of the Mexican corn. You want to help in that?
Sure.
While you're here.
I love to cook.
We're going to add. I tell you what, I'm going to move this. I'm kind of spoiled. This is an induction service, so it cools off very quickly. It's almost, I can.
That's amazing.
Touch it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add here. I'll allow you
excellent. Okay.
the mayo.
Okay.
And actually, while you're doing it, I will read out the amount. So it is 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Thank you. And 2 tablespoons of mayo.
Okay.
And then the recipe calls for lime zest or lemon juice. I like taking the lemon juice route. So this is what we're going to do. And I didn't intentionally have you up here to make you do this, but here, go ahead and mix that up. Yes.
I can give you the spoon. You can keep going too.
Yeah, no, you got it. I will make the mess pouring the corn in there. That's great.
Yum.
Okay, so then we add the smoked paprika, which is, I think it was a tablespoon. Let's make sure. No, it's 1/2. Yeah, 1/2. And then we are putting in the chili powder, which is a full teaspoon. There we go. And black pepper.
Wow. Okay.
And of course, cilantro goes in everything now. You know, so, yeah, I know. And that's fresh. And oh, by the way, that is solely which is actually produced here in the Shenandoah Valley. They're organics and they grow it, and you can find it across. Perfect. Okay, while I appreciate that, I am going to probably remove this because I love my...
Better you than me.
That's what I get for,
Sorry.
trying to get everything off of that. It's white, nobody will see it. Pour the corn directly in the bowl.
That was so easy.
I know. And the last part, and we'll see how well I do with the actual stirring of it here in a second. You might want to stand out of the way. I'm just teasing. I don't think I'm going to be that wild with it. And feta cheese, the last ingredient that goes in for this. And it is literally now ready to eat if you want. You can serve this warm, you can serve it cold. We already have found out in my household that it's great on burritos, salads, tortillas, used as a dip.
Sounds
As a matter of fact, we have some chips right there when we get this ready. And that's what it should look like and it's done. And it is great. And thanks for your help
You're welcome. Thanks for letting me help.
in doing that. And so there it is, the Mexican street corn. And you can add salt to it if you have so desire, but that's one of the optional things. Again, I use lime juice instead of the zest. I just think it's easier. And I like the flavor. But here it is. And I'm not going to hit that real hard so it splatters all over me. I'm going to put this right here. And I stopped you sort of midstream when we were talking about the mechanics, aviation mechanics and education and those kinds of things.
So, well, we just have a wide variety of tenants based at the airport. And we also have a medevac helicopter, PHI Air Care 5. And it's kind of like our own little city. We have we have commercial rental cars there, and we have a thriving business and corporate traffic. Lots of our local businesses and industries here depend on the airport to be able to get in and out efficiently.
Yep. You're also developing, you've just put up some new hangars, but you're also developing an air park there.
Yes.
And I will just say, okay, this is a plug. We're one of the few airports in Virginia that actually has developable land.
That is true.
And so tell us about the Aviation Technology Park.
That is true, yeah. We just finished phase 1 of the Aviation Technology Park, which was 2 hangars owned by the airport, which are community hangars for based aircraft. And then we have a private investor who built a third hangar there. and our environmental assessment is just wrapping up for phase 2. And within that phase, we really have a lot of flexibility. We're going to start working on our land prep now, and really it can be kind of built to suit, for whatever folks need. We're trying to target like advanced air mobility and, that kind of new technology research and development.
And the beauty of this for us here in the Shenandoah Valley is we're in the very early stages of developing a 500-acre park across the road so that they can be very complementary. Everybody note that. That's what.
Very exciting.
That's a takeaway.
It's very exciting
for that.
Yeah.
So we are excited about that. Did you discuss the event that you just had?
No, I didn't. How did I forget that? Thank you for the reminder.
That's important.
Back to the Children's Museum and our partnership with them. We just had our 7th Run the Runway 5K event and Kids Fun Run, which is something that we do with them every year. And we really partner together in planning that. It's an awesome day to invite not just museum families, but just the whole community to come out and see the airport. And how often do you get to run on a runway? It is closed. FAA, it's closed.
Yes.
We got all of our approvals, no worries. It's just so much fun. And to have the kids come out and do their little fun run. It is, all the airplanes and the fire trucks around, and we have aircraft on display, and it's just a really fun time. And all of those proceeds go to support maintaining and further development of the aviation exhibit here at Explore More.
Yes, and you do some tourism work, because I know that you have. You may have said this, but you have planes come in, and then you.
We have lots and lots of tourism.
And you're the official airport of JMU. I'll throw out a bone for them.
Yes, the official airport of James Madison University. We're very proud and love welcoming their alumni and fans and students during sports season. We're upcoming on football season. We have lots and lots of aircraft charters. Now that we're in the Sun Belt Division, JMU has, their opponents are much further. Yes. So either their opponents are coming in or the teams going out. We see the basketball teams and the, lacrosse. We see lots of different teams. Yeah. So it's fun. Definitely home of the Dukes.
Yes.
Our airline terminal is all branded purple and gold, and but not just JMU. We actually have a good partnership with all of the universities and colleges in the region too.
Yeah, Bridgewater and EMU and Mary Baldwin, and we could go on.
Our huge educational corridor here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks for having me.
We will have everybody up and try this at the end of it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce Kelli Weaver, the Destination Development Manager for the Virginia Tourism Corporation.
That's right.
You can tell that I never use that title with Kelli.
Well, we refer to me as the local tourism lady, so I don't blame him for not remembering the title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are with the corporation.
I am.
You've got a report that just came out for Virginia. Did. Yes, talk about
We're
that.
so proud.
So I've wound her up now. I probably don't have to say anything else.
Jay got me all hyped up. So we just had a report come out that said that we had $33.3 billion, big B, dollars in spending over the last year in 2023. We could not be more proud. That is a record-setting year for us. And the impact of that is just absolutely incredible. You can feel it not only as a small business or as a tourism partner, but our locals are having an offset of $900 or more each year in taxes that they don't have to pay because of this income. I know, it's crazy.
Say that again.
$900+ every year that families do not have to pay in taxes because tourism is covering it. Yeah.
And people don't understand that. I mean, that's real dollars. People can, I can get my head around that, but that is what you're bringing in that helps with all of the taxes, the fueling part of the economy, right?
Absolutely. I mean, tourism is bigger than just the amazing experience that you have. It's transportation, like the airport. It's recreation. It's food and beverage. It's lodging. Everyone in the valley plays a part in their own way, and it not only impacts tourism directly, but if you think about construction of new facilities and venues, and you think about other support services, it is all tied in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about sort of what's close to us in the Shenandoah Valley.
Ag. Oh, Jay knows this is something I'm so passionate about, you guys. There is such a beautiful tie in the Valley because of our legacy and our heritage in agriculture with regional identity number one. Who are we and who are we going to be? Food and beverage production, and then agritourism. You know, when I look across the state, and I've had a really cool opportunity in my role to travel to different regions, this is our unique selling point. This is something that we have in abundance. And you not only see it when you're driving around looking at beautiful fields and pastures, you're able to engage with it right at the farmer's market. You're able to engage with it when you're looking at some of this food that's been here produced in the Valley. And we live and breathe and love that every day. But when a visitor comes in and they see what makes the Valley unique, it's that food and bev production and getting that hands-on experience.
Kelli, what you're talking about is quality of life.
Yes.
You know, assets here in the region, like Explore More Museum and the airport.
Yes. Yeah, we're so lucky. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to steal the words of a colleague, and I apologize here, but Pete Eshelman, he's on our board at VTC, and he also works in the Roanoke area, an economic developer like you. He said that tourism is economic development's first date, or as my boss Becky Nave would say, the first door. So when you have someone coming into the area, maybe it's a site developer, maybe it's the leader of a company, or maybe it's someone with a family that just wants to have a beautiful quality of life, right? You're driving around and you're seeing these assets. You can't believe your eyes. You learn more about it. You say, I've got to live here, right? Even if you're just passing through or you're here for a week spending time in the Valley, and believe me, you could spend a month and still not get to everything. That's that first step. And we couldn't be more fortunate to have these partners here to create that reality for all of us, really.
Yeah, it's, you just mentioned something, and we can kind of wrap it up with those thoughts, but all of these assets are part of our campaign, because you participate with us on things, on our talent attraction and retention.
Yes.
And it's assets and quality of life that are making a big difference. So we actually work together. You want to tell the story about how we met?
Oh my God. Okay. This is the kind of thing that happens in the Valley.
It happens in the Valley.
It happens in the Valley. And I tell people, if you haven't been to the Valley or if you haven't lived in the Valley, it is one giant small town. It's not just Strasburg or just Harrisonburg. We are a giant small town. So Jay and I happened to decide at about the same time, on about the same day, that we're going to be the crazy people that on January 1st go to Seven Bend State Park for a first day hike. For those of you that aren't familiar,
explain the first day hike concept.
A first day hike. All of the state parks in Virginia are doing this, and I'm aware that there are other state parks and entities across the nation that probably do. But it's like, let's start the year off right. Let's get outside. Let's enjoy nature. It might be bitterly cold. It might be a mild 50 degrees. You never know in the Valley. But it was a great day. So we're both minding our business, walking on this hike, when I mentioned to somebody, because the Valley's a small town, the name of someone that we work with, Jenna French.
That's correct.
His ears perked up, and he rushed his way up to me and said, how do you know Jenna French? Pick up from here, because I don't know fully what was on your mind. I just know you were really excited to make a connection on the trail of all places.
I was. Well, I heard the name, and of course, not being afraid to talk to someone and ask a question. I was like, how do you know Jenna French? I want to know. And through that, I learned that you were with the Tourism Corporation. And then we got to talking and talked about how important tourism is, because we value that, because I love it. And I think you're the one that first said this, but these are the assets that we all get to enjoy every day.
Yeah.
And I've used that ever since. I'm still going to try to remember Pete's quote. Because I was at the meeting with Pete that day. But we love celebrating the tourism, and it is a small community in many ways, but that's what makes this area work. It's just like Heather being a part of Explore More Discovery Museum, and Lisa and Brian and all that they have done and worked in different capacities, but that have these wonderful assets in a community that, you know, we're fortunate to have in the Valley, in that area.
We get to live in a tourist destination every day. And the really beautiful thing to me too is this is not a destination where it feels maybe overrun, right? Like, oh, there's so many people. No, like we feel like because of this abundance of agriculture, because of this abundance of the forest, we can have these beautiful moments right on the trail with our families and with our friends, and welcome those visitors in. And not only are we enjoying that from the perspective of our quality of living because we just love it, but also this is creating vibrant communities. You know, small businesses are thriving because of tourism. You know, that's putting food on the table for individuals, families. You know, again, those peripheral industries as well are benefiting. So our continued growth is due in large part to tourism and all these partnerships.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kelli.
Thank you.
We embrace tourism, and because that is part of the quality of life here.
Yes.
And so we're grateful to have you and others that are playing in that space and making these connections, helping us tell the story. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. Lisa and Heather, would you like to come back up? We will test out.
Let's do it.
The corn salad.
I'm grateful for the corn salad.
So you're
That's
grateful
what I'm grateful for.
Hey, it's a small thing. I hope it's good. Thanks to everyone. We really appreciate you being here, hosting us, and what you do to make this place a better place. Appreciate that. Let's try. You know, anybody want to try with the dip?
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I'll take one for the team, I guess.
I'm all in. I'll eat what I cook.
Looks delicious. I'm gonna get everything I can.
Heather.
And literally, I've had this just about every way you can imagine.
All right, let's go.
This will be.
Folks, this is not because I made it. This is such a simple recipe. It is so good.
Good.
I mean, it will be on salads, burritos, anything I put on. You can serve it as a separate dish. You can serve it as a dip.
That's so good.
And people will think you're a genius. You know, not me, but they will think y'all were.
Well done.
And you. Well, thank you for joining us for this version of the cooking show. I hope it was enjoyable for you to learn more about sort of the quality of life, but the assets that really make the community. And we don't forget that here. So thank you, and we look forward to talking to you in the future on another cooking show. Bye.